Hi there, guys. It's Celine again, and this is going to be lesson 2, yes, in my Tummo teaching project series, whatever I'm supposed to be calling that so far yet. It's going to be a 2-part endeavor, so I'm still hoping to keep this under 25 minutes because that's, as much as I want to place on you guys here for this particular kind of session. As I introduced last week, I intend to make a playlist, separate playlist that has Tummo techniques. So things that I talk about in something of an order that I think would be most beneficial, so that if anybody's really interested, they can actually listen to these, watch these videos in sequence, so they will be numbered also at some point, yes. I have to remind myself to do that. Of course, this is only number 2, so it doesn't really matter that much yet, but my plan is to make the experience I've gained more accessible, more easily accessible, and easy to find also. So that if you just find my channel from there on out, you can just go ahead and practice Tummo in this manner, if that's what you want to do. I have hesitated for quite a long time before starting to do this. I also only just feel ready, to do this. I also have a cup of coffee because I'm going to be busy the rest of the day and have to do this right now, kind of a thing. So, yeah. So, 2 parts. First of all, last time I talked about the earth line, so the connection between your root chakra and the heart of the earth, and whatever can be happening in there. And the use of a white light practice. So this is all preparation for before you start doing Shakti, doing Tummo and all that. You need to know this stuff, okay? You need to have context and frame and sort of a base for things to sit in. I have a little Shiva Lingam in the one hand and my beautiful new grey crone agate skull in the other that are keeping me company to, do this as well as I can. So I think it's really crucial. So I'm going to stress that again, that we are actually in our bodies and in this type of a process more and more, becoming aware also more and more of the fact that we live we are situated in our bodies with our experiences and our lives in those bodies. We are sitting in the middle, if you like. At this point, it looks to me like the middle, but doesn't matter really. But you're sitting on a spectrum from earth to heaven. So from below to above, if you like. And you need to know this. You need to be aware of the fact that there is forces all around you, but there's forces beneath you that are really part of you. And there's forces up there that are really part of you. And you need to know them. You need to know all of them and be able to decide where on your spectrum you want to be, where on your line of growth you're sitting, and whether there's anything you can do about that. So last time I had said really there's 2 little things that you really sort of need to have available in your life, in yourself, to do this in this way as I'm showing it to you. One is a certain level of focus, a certain level of chosen focus also. I am choosing to concentrate on this stone right now. So that means that I'm using a capacity that I have of focusing, of concentrating, right? And if I do that, there's an effect. I engage with this stone, there's a relationship, there's all sorts of things I could be saying. The same thing applies inside the body. I believe this is called body scanning also by people nowadays, more and more, because it's just, it's part of our natures. I did not invent this kind of stuff. I think people in Neolithic times were capable of chosen focus. Of course, it's human. So, yeah. The other thing I pointed out last time is that I will be doing this a lot, recapitulating and so on and so forth, because I just feel that it makes more sense that way. The other thing I said was, if you have engaged with the stone in this manner, or with a particular part of your body in this manner, or with a particular part inside the earth in this manner, and there's been a development of whatever kind, then you have to sort of check in. Okay, so that's part 2 to the same kind of a basic mental little toolkit, if you like, where you always want to check in. You always want to see, okay, what have I done exactly? What was this thing? What happened? Okay. So these two things I think are just so important. It's so easy to ignore or forget about those, but it's like learning to like writing, ABC, 1, 2, 3. One is the ABC, the other is the 1, 2, 3. They're different and yet also quite closely related. So, okay, so the spectrum line, okay, going from the heart of the earth up to the area just beneath our feet, which I've always called the Earth Star Chakra. As soon as I read that, I felt like, okay, oh, that's what they call this thing. Okay, good. There's other people who know about the Earth Star. Great. I wouldn't have thought of the Earth Star at that point yet myself, because that area was really quite dark. I went into this last time as well. So I did this whole description of how I started healing my Earth Star area, it's a bit hard to pronounce, underneath my feet, so inside the earth, and using white light, which of course comes from up yonder, sort of, beyond the personal space of the other chakras which are out there, and so on, which is something that you just also have to practice. I think a lot of people can actually have a sort of a white light connection, practice this already. It's a matter of maybe slightly fine-tuning it and daring. I would say the other crucial tool in your toolkit is courage. Maybe there's 4 tools in all. Focus, checking in. So, has anything actually happened? Do I feel different? What does that look like? What are the consequences of what I feel now? How does this develop? Keeping track of stuff, that's all number 2. The third thing is courage. Sorry, still, a bit of breakfast down there. Courage to dare to change. Dare to change your life. Dare to take charge of your energy. Dare to say, okay, so this is me here. I am whatever it is that you need to be saying at the point. ... You fill in what it's supposed to say there. Because I'm not telling you. This is me, okay? For me, it definitely was all the way through into all the multiverses, taking charge of my life. Taking charge of how I felt and whether I could do anything about that. I was willing to walk on my hands to Vladivostok, which is all the way over there. It's a long way over there, in order for my life to improve. I needed a better life. So if you want a better life, stick around, because it might actually work. It's a lot of work, but it's fun also, and there's just no comparing. The the gratification and the levels of expansion that you're going to get if you go into this process. So that's why I'm here. Okay. The fourth thing that we need is the capacity to surrender. So this is again connected to this white light idea. I personally sort of feel a type of a white light connection in some kinds of religious places. Cathedrals and or little mini chapels can be, quite good for that. It can also be out in nature or on the beach or in the high mountains, especially. I would say that in terms of an actual white light experience, being high up in the mountains at about 2,000 meters or more, preferably where there's glaciers, that would certainly qualify as approaching, because the vibration is really different up there compared to sea level, more or less, which is where I'm at myself. So that's one very simple, very easy exercise for anybody, interested in this type of stuff. If you travel to different altitudes during, a year or so, compare, if that find for yourself, and you can put all this stuff to practice, okay, which is something I'm a big fan of. Try to find out what feels different at sea level, at 600 meters, in the hills, or in between, and this apart separately from how many people there are. Of course, often in the higher altitudes, there aren't as many people. In Europe, that's the case anyway, most of the time. So try to separate that out for yourself. This is a really good way of checking in. See, number 2, checking, okay, so I'm getting a feeling of this, I'm getting a feeling of that, and this feeling belongs in the people category. This feeling belongs in the geology and geography category. See? Because there are differences. If I go to the Vosges Mountains in France, which I've visited with my husband a gazillion times, we go up the hills and it's like 1,200 meters up there, something like that. There's a different sensation. It's like more open to less personal vibrations. It's beautiful. It is gorgeous. There's parts in the Vosges Mountains that feel nearly like there's an angelical presence. That's a really good, maybe it's a good one to remember. Compare what you would feel to be an angelical presence. That's like a little checking terminology bit right there. If that feels, it feels like very beautiful, serene, open, caring, light, brightness. You go on, you go on from there. Okay, so surrender is a quality that we need as much as courage, okay? You need to be able to feel those things. The other thing I want to point out again with all 4 of these aspects really is that as you proceed, as you go along your path, and you learn to incorporate more Shakti, Tummo energy into your life really, these qualities will improve. But still, very often, there will be a point of a choice, a point where you are free to decide, okay, so maybe I've gone through this, there's an emotional issue involved, something comes up that has to do with your parents, with your mother, I don't know, emotions. And at some point, you're faced with the choice, okay, so I am feeling pain over this, I am angry, I am upset, I am afraid, all those things. But these people or the situation that caused my problem, they're no longer here. So I'm here now. This is 10, 20 years in the future, compared to the position I was in back then. Can I use my energy knowledge to create a sort of a step away from that same path always. That is a choice. As soon as you feel that you have a choice. Lots of people don't change anything because they don't really feel that they have a choice. So they don't. Because you have a choice as soon as you feel it. Good stuff or what? Yes, I think it's pretty good stuff. So I'm going to add on. How far along am I? Oh gosh, I've got 10 more minutes and I've got such important stuff to share still. I still want a cup of slip of coffee. Of course, that becomes a gloop of coffee. And I don't think it matters that much if I go over by 10 minutes, as long as it isn't 50 in total, because then it doesn't qualify as a lesson anymore. Okay. Experience. So these are my 4 big things. I will have to write them down again afterwards because brain. I know how this stuff works, but to actually enumerate the things, it's, yeah, okay. I had another experience this morning myself, just as an illustration for this whole dimension thing, where we're sitting in the middle. It's like a huge, massive rainbow, really, where you are the actual rainbow parts, the colors of the rainbow with the chakras, all neatly aligned like that. And there's a whole massive invisible spectrum beneath your feet in the earth, and a whole massive invisible spectrum above like that, going into the universe. I see our root chakra, our star chakra, I should say, our root chakra, all 3 of our dantians, so in, and in, like that, and our crown chakra. So that's 5, and crown chakra is 6 levels, okay. Each of these looks more or less the same. And I'm trying to look around whether I see an example of this, maybe on my sheet over there. I guess not. Bear with. Because I did think I saw something similar. Oh, it'll just have to do for just a tiny bit. This is one of my Tibetan oracle cards that I'm supposed to be gluing and pasting together into cards, little ones. This one with the circles, the concentric circles, okay? So each of those 6 levels, so I'm not talking chakras here, except for maybe this one and the bottom one, the root chakra one, looks like this. And on top of that, the ring that is around the middle, like so, actually has little centers in it. This is a really useful, just to keep in the back of your mind, approach to just, because occasionally you will want energy to pass through the front of you, or to the side of you, or through the back of you. The center, the middle, is what they call the middle channel. Okay, this is official. It's normal Qigong knowledge. If you type in the middle channel, this is what you will get, unless it's of course about the sea, the North Sea channel or something like that, or a YouTube channel, or yeah. The middle channel, which I tend to also equate with middle pillar, which is a different type of approach. It's all the same thing, really. It's a magical vibrational channel, which we own, each of us. We are basically a middle channel with a lot of trappings sitting around it, is one way of putting it. However, besides the middle, so if you look down onto the shape of the dantians or the earth star, or whichever part of you you're looking at, there's a circle, there's a center, and it's surrounded by concentric circles, and there's circles sitting around, like in an orbit around the middle, okay, like that. Okay, so I have an issue, coming to my practical little example here of what happened to me this morning. One of those circles, one of those channels really at the back near to my spine, at the back of on the behind my middle channel, if you look at me like this, has always been giving me grief because I have occasional, nervous pain in my lower back alongside my spine going up like this. There's this tonsil that gives me 3 times more as much problems, to the extent that they still do, compared to this one. And it ends in my right eye, which is where a lot of potential headaches always used to start anyway. Neck area over here. All this is a problematic channel for me. So there's meridians, of course, linking into this whole channel thing, but that's more detailed. So you can look up meridians for if you have consistent pains in a particular area of your body. It's very useful to look up meridians and pressure points, that are in different areas. It's all on the net. It's easy to get at. The important thing is I did a white light meditation this morning, actually half an hour ago, just now, maybe an hour ago, and this is where it takes patience, which is nearly the same thing as courage sometimes, to just keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again until it's the right time, until it's the crossroads moment where all of a sudden there's a new possibility opening up. And what happened for me is that there was inside the earth, quite, a ways inside the earth, beneath my earth star chakra area, really, there was a presence there. There was actually a presence that I linked instantly to my great-grandmother on an ancestor of mine, okay? I'm not gonna go into who exactly it is, but a distant, relatively distant ancestor of mine, female, that I never knew, that I've heard about little bits and pieces, but not that much. And she was Jewish, and she had a lot of baggage to carry around in her life, and I don't think she had much help with it. And I have never really acknowledged that I am related to her, which is not so unusual, I think, if it's something you never knew or talked to ever in your life, or it's just very remote, all of it. So it is like her energy, or the weight of her, a part of consciousness, an actual personality fragment of her, was sitting in my life, was sitting in my energy, in my body, and it manifested in this painful area in my eye, like this. But the cause wasn't in my eye, it wasn't in my brain, or in my tonsils, or in my lymphatic system, or in my root chakra even, where I've tried to white light that stuff out of my root chakra as many times as you care to count, and I never really got any result, just a bit of temporary relief. This time, it was the right time for the white light to go in there, exactly where it was that she was. And as long as it's not the right time, we cannot even be aware of what it is, how it all hangs together. That's why it's such an adventure, because each day you will find new things. It will be like, wow, this is overwhelming, or this is really, it looks really different now. That's normal. Which is why I advocate, keeping journals, because then you can keep track of all the weirdness and the changes and whatever is happening. So I decided that we needed white light. I could feel this, I could see her first, and then I could feel the presence. I could feel quite a bit of the pain also, which isn't really my pain. So I have a question for you. How much of your pain, if any, you're human, so there's bound to be pain in there somewhere. How much of your pain isn't really your own? You're just carrying it because it hasn't been healed properly, because it hasn't been surrendered. So we together, she and I and the white light, sort of extracted her. It goes naturally. You can sort of feel how the white light inserts itself behind this energy element that's in there and detaches it from where it has been attached. It was attached to a part of me completely beyond my own reach. I cannot go in there and scoop her out like that. The white light, however, made us. So this is God, if you like. I don't necessarily call it God, but that's what it is, really. So it's whatever name you use for God, it's fine. It's the thing we're talking about, not the name, okay? Not going there. Scooped her out, lifted her up, and because this was actually quite a bit a representation of an actual complete person, I had to sit there and wait for, as I tend to call that, somebody to come and pick her up. Because at this type of a level, with this type of a healing process, normally it's just old energies that belong to me or that come from somewhere else or what, and it's just gone before I even know that there was something going on. In this case, I felt it was really appropriate to sit and wait, and out of the white light presence awareness comes a sense of love for this old woman. A sense of understanding, like a real counterpart for her. And of course, she accepts this and off they go, like that. So I hope you liked my description. I thought that was just too cute not to incorporate. Afterwards, I felt a distinct increase in Shakti energy, especially along this line along which I'd been working all morning and during the times I was awake at night, because I was working at it from here with my Shakti trying to find a way in, because I still want to improve my eyesight. I will tell you if there is improvement, but I certainly can tell that it feels a lot better. It feels more open. It's like a sense almost as if the ocean is washing through that part of me. So that feels pretty brilliant. If only for that, this is great stuff, If only for those types of moments where you go like, oh my God, thank goodness. That actually changed something. So, okay, so we are at 28 minutes. You know what? I'm going to stop right here. I do have another part, and I will proceed to record that, but I will put that in a separate lesson number 3. Okay, see you over there, hopefully. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye now.